the reasons why people like Crystal Ball and those moderates, the damn progressives, are the number one threat to third parties, CJ. Because once again, Breaking Points has an audience that 100 times bigger than ours, 50 times. It's literally multiple times bigger than ours, like giant. So do you guys know how many people they be listening to Crystal Ball's coverage? Because she will do a radar talking about how Democrats is horrible, right? Because she does those every once in a while. Like, yeah, Joe Biden didn't do this. He didn't have this promise. Democrats are doing this, doing that. And then these motherfuckers be almost there. They be like, because they following the anti-Democrat coverage, they be almost there. They be right there like, nigga, I'm about done with this shit. Yeah, Crystal, you got me fired up. I saw that radar you did about student debt relief. I had enough. It's time for us to leave the Democratic Party. So as Crystal and these moderates get these people right there, then they say, no, you misunderstood. You misunderstood. We have no choice. But right. I know we don't like Democrats, but we got to support Democrats, and third parties will never win. So that person who's almost there, they like, because they trust Crystal, they did say, oh, never mind, you're right. How, and I can not only, just keep me up night. CJ, can you imagine how many people since 2014 was almost there, but was convinced by people like Cal and Crystal, oh, never mind. I thought it was a good idea, but Crystal and these people obviously know more than I do, and they think it's a bad idea. So I'm going to just go ahead and support Democrats, I guess.
It speaks to how the professional managerial class think about who they are. They are people who read books and take tests. That's the shit that they understand. So what are they? They're studying our vernacular. They're studying our terms, but without the sort of backing, without the sort of like willingness to actually pull it off, because they only want to catch your ear and then change your mind. Go ahead.
Well said. So I think I preface this video enough. Like, dude, CJ, I had no plans on playing this video. It was like an hour before the stream started. I was cooking. And I was always listen to something while I cook. That's just my routine. So I had this. So I played this. There's nothing that will prepare you for how horrible this coverage is about to be. And I'm not exaggerating. We watched many Breaking Points videos, CJ. I think the RFK Crystal Ball interview is up there as one of the worst. But this is up there with the RFK interview. I swear to God.
I was gonna watch it, so we're gonna watch it now. Good.
Yeah, we're gonna watch it now. That's the only reason I'm playing it because I was watching it by my roommate like, what the fuck are you screaming for? Because I was literally like, what? I literally had an audible reaction to some of the shit they just say here. And I'm gonna break it down one by one to the point where it's undeniable. And it was so bad. I got to near the end because I was like fuming. And I was like, I want these motherfuckers to debate me so bad. These niggas need to I will clown these motherfuckers so bad. And I want you guys to stay tuned in this video, in this part here. Because Crystal puts on the textbook Crystal Ball Ditsy performance. But Sagar actually comes in later and says the dumbest shit out of the entire video. Sagar says the dumbest shit I've seen out of anybody during the Cornell West dialogue. I'm not going to spoil it. I'm saying that so you guys stay tuned. Because this shit gets crazy. Now let's play.
Swinging.
Now I skip the first 2 minutes and 45 seconds because it's mostly just filler, talking about what we already know. This is near the end of the announcement video, and then they can get their takes. Oh, Jesus Christ, this is about to be crazy.
Style and a smile, accenting the best in you and trying to tease out the best in me. Let's do it together.
Wow. So I think it's a great video.
Yeah,
and Dr. West, I mean, he's an incredible force in American public life, someone I deeply admire and respect.
What does it sound like? She's starting with the Ben Dixon windup. I got a lot of respect for Dr. Cornell West, but wait for the butt.
Brave truth teller. I don't think anyone could take that away from him. And I just love his energy. He has always brought
wait for the butt,
reaching
guys.
out to people who may disagree with him, but never compromising his values in any way. However, the choice of
let's see her critique here. It's unbelievable.
In this way with the People's Party it's just
Can you pause it 1 second? Because I want to preface this before we hear it, just so people don't think I'm saying it just because I heard it on there. I haven't seen this. So if her critiques of the People's Party are any critiques that applies to the Democratic Party, what are you talking about? That I just want to say that in the beginning. So listen for the critiques. And let's say, does this also, ask yourself, does this apply to the Democratic Party when she says it? You can go ahead, Nick.
Oh man, I can't wait to hear some of this shit, man. They just get started. Listen to this shit. So I went back to the however part because the first 15 seconds after they in the announcement video, she's like, I love Dr. Cornell West. Do the same thing Ben Dixon do. Wait for the however. She don't say but however. Listen to that part.
Compromising his values in any way. However, the choice of running in this way with the People's Party is just confusing to me.
Confusing.
If you're going to run third party, the Green Party has ballot access in almost every state. They obviously were.
So this is something that's been annoying the shit out of me. And
what you told us to get serious? She told us to get serious. Nick.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I actually love that take, CJ. I love that take. I actually wasn't about bringing it there, but that's such a good point. Remember when we was like, we're not gonna support Marianne Williamson. We rather support the Green Party. When that happened, she was like, get serious, grow up. Now all of a sudden, Dr. Cornell West is running People Party. All of a sudden, you're a Green Party activist now. Then one of the tweets I sent last night was CJ and all our critiques of the People Party are legit, but there are people who do not support the Green Party, and I know these people kind of know what they said in the past before. They voted Democrat. These people don't support the Green Party, but they say, man, I would love if Dr. Cornell West ran the Green Party. Nigga, will you practice what you preach? Because if you practice what you preach, you would support the Green Party too. So why are you demanding Dr. Cornell West to support a party that you don't even support? But anyway, let's continue. It can actually get worse. It actually get way worse. This is very mild compared to what Sagar going to say later.
Have an impact and gain more traction in 2016 when Dr. Jill Stein ran. The People's Party, from what is publicly available, only has ballot access in 3 states. They've been around since roughly 2016-ish. They've never been able to elect a president. So effectively, you're signing up for what is really like a...
CJ, she said the People's Party had never been able to elect a president, even though they had one presidential election. How many presidents did the Progressive Caucus elect? Exactly. I mean, meaning someone who ran as a progressive. How many times did it happen? Zero, ma'am. But I'm gonna let you play because it actually there's so much to break down here because they go rapid fire real quick here.
Write-in campaign. I also have questions about how much success you're able to garner as a third-party candidate, just given the structure of American politics, the fact we have first-past-the-post vote.
Hold up. Crystal, hold up.
She just said third party.
You're concerned over the chances of Dr. Cornell West winning as a third-party candidate. CJ, do you remember during Crystal and Kyle, they asked Marianne a question? They like, Marianne Williamson, do you believe you're going to win this election? And then Marianne Wilson said, yes, I'm going to win. And Kyle Crystal like, yay! Yes! Yes, she's going to win. Yes, she's going to win. I'm glad that you're confident, Marianne. They were so happy when Marianne Wilson said that she believes she's going to win. And then Crystal, as the video continues, she just said, we don't live for first past the post. They stand no chance at winning if you're a third party. The obvious response to that is Marianne Wilson does? Running as a Democrat does? So you guys see how these people are Democrats? They believe in Democratic apologia. They don't believe the Democrat Party primary is rigged. They are shit libs, and they don't even realize it. But so what she's saying is that you're better off going through the Democrat Party than the third party, because the Democrat Party is a democratic organization that will going to allow you in. The Democrats are not even allowing Marianne Williamson and RFK to debate. The primaries are rigged. But according to Crystal Ball, I have criticism of Cornell West because he don't have a chance to win. But my good friend Marianne Wilson had a chance to win. Her officiating my wedding clearly has nothing to do with my political analysis here. You guys see what the inconsistency? At least say fucking both. If you want to say I don't support Marianne because she stand no chance of winning, I don't support Dr. Cornell West because you don't stand no chance of winning, I would say you're a coward who not willing to fight for your beliefs, but at least you're consistent. Crystal went to convince you that her good friend had a chance to win, running in a rigged primary, but you should never run third party. Once again, Sagar's take is actually worse than this, whether you believe it or not. And we let play for more. I want you guys to hear a full shitload diatribe, and then we can let it play.
You're signing up for what is really like a write-in campaign. I also have questions about how much success you're able to garner as a third-party candidate, just given the structure of American politics.
But Democrats,
have first-past-the-post voting, the fact we don't have ranked choice voting. So I'm sort of confused about what the thinking is.
Y'all don't have
here
ranked choice voting in the primaries. You dumb dicks. So she's like, well, third parties, they stand no chance because there's no ranked choice voting. So how your primary going to work then? There's no ranked choice voting. There's no star voting. So you're saying that running as a third party is rigged, but the issue I have is because they are implying that running as a Democrat is not.
They flip-flop on this. And it's the same point I made yesterday. These are opposites. It cannot be viable and rigged at the same time. Yes. By definition, if it's rigged, it cannot be viable except for the person that it's rigged for. So anybody else in the race is not viable if it's rigged. This literally doesn't make any sense. And the thing is, Nick, in order for them to be able to like talk out of two sides of their mouths, it's dependent on the people listening to them, just taking them for face value, regardless of any critical thinking. You get what I'm saying? So this goes to why we have to have a dumb left. It's so that they can tell you stuff like this, and you go, really? Okay, I just do that. When actually you should just think about it. And it's like, wait a minute. In one hand, when she's not on the debate stage and they're not covering her, you're screaming rigged. And then when we say, well, why don't you run another party? You say, well, it's not viable. Well, what? How is your avenue of being rigged is also viable? That doesn't make sense. Go ahead.
That's such a great point, CJ. Such a great point. Because Crystal and Kyle would do these videos talking about how they're screwing Marianne. Like Kyle and Crystal did videos like, oh my God, isn't it fucked up they're not allowing Marianne to debate? Then in this video, they'll turn around and say, oh, come on, why don't you run in a legitimate party like Democrats? Fucking clowns of the highest order. And it gets worse. Like, I swear to God, I need to let the video play more. Because Sagar literally had my jaw on the fucking floor after what he said. I'll let it play a little bit more.
Let me hear this,
We chime in. I'm going to let it play. God damn, this shit's hard to get through. But I'm actually going to let it play a little bit here.
Ranked choice voting. So I'm sort of confused about what the thinking is tactically here, because if you were going to go the third party route,
strategy
there seems to be other vehicles. And also, frankly,
you know how strategy now matters? Didn't matter with Marianne. I just love what you're talking about. But now, Cornell West, they talking about strategy. Get the fuck out of here. I'll let it play.
Jesus. You know, let's just sort of tried the let's have an impact through a third party run thing in 2016. So you kind of know with a third party, like, you're not going to win just because of the overall structure of American politics. But if your theory of change is, all right, this is going to put pressure on Biden and the Democrats to move more left and represent.
This is exactly what you guys told us about the Marianne Williamson campaign. Are you serious, Nick? This is literally what they told us when we said she is not going to win. Well, we want somebody who wins, who can be able to say and bring up these topics. This is literally what they told us.
Bro, I don't know if I was cooking, it was loud. I did not hear this part. This part was she literally pulls the push Biden left trope. She's not understand if you run as a Democrat, you run in the primary, you try to influence Biden. Nigga, how did push Biden left go? So according to Crystal Ball, it's a legitimate strategy to run as a Democrat to get leverage over Biden in the Democratic Party, even though Joe Biden literally shifted to the right in funding the police more, cut Medicaid, cut social spending, funding the military more, expanded fracking, public drilling. Biden has shifted to the right since you guys did the strategy and run as a Democratic Party, because the Democratic Party saw your support. Everything that she says, up is down. The sky is red. Nigga, everything she said is the exact opposite. And here, this part, we want it again. She literally advocates for the push Biden left strategy. I actually missed this when I first scanned this video. That's why I had my reaction. I'm like, bro, I don't know how I missed that part. Listen to this part again.
No, with a third party, like, you're not going to win just because of the overall structure of American politics. But if your theory of change is, all right, this is going to put pressure on Biden and the Democrats to move more left and represent more of our values, well, that was tried in 2016. And rather than putting pressure on them to move left, what it actually caused them to do was to further smear and dismiss leftists and anyone who ever said even a single kind word about Dr. Jill Stein, to redouble their efforts to crush any sort of leftist insurgencies, to smear everyone as, like, you know, Putin's puppets and fascist sympathizers, etc. And just as a tactic, it wasn't successful. So that's sort of my take. Love Dr. West, doesn't take anything.
So I'll correct myself there. She does bring that up, but her take is even more confusing. because she just acknowledged that if you run in the Democratic Party, they're not going to shift to the left. How does that criticism apply to Cornell West? How does what you just said apply? What you just said applies to Marianne Williamson, but you didn't have the balls to say it to Marianne Williamson because she officiated your wedding. You said that if you run in the Democratic Party, you're not going to shift the party to the left, which is a correction. She does say that. But so where is this criticism of Marianne Williamson, who's trying to do the same thing that failed in 2016? It's not there because she had him at the wedding. Unbelievably inconsistency. But let's continue because I really want to get to the Sagar part before we move on.
Away from my respect for him, but as a tactic, I'm quite confused by it.
It could be he just wants media attention and he wants to try and move the race, in that way. In that way, I mean, listen, maybe it could also be a way in order to garner funding for the People's Party in order to get them on more ballot access to try and get the initiatives in order to set them up for future success. I think that's one way to look at it. I mean, I think that really, in fact, that's probably the most likely scenario, which is that given he's such a well-respected figure and is well-known media-wise, gaining enough attention both in the media forced to cover his run, but also
I'm gonna let it play till Sagar says the part I'm waiting for. He says what he says is horrible. I'm gonna let it play until he gets to the point.
To gain enough money and in volunteers, then they could go out and to try and get more ballot access so that they could become maybe the next Green Party in the future. Overall, I mean, look, I think people often confuse, political reality for like a judgment. Like, I have no issues with third parties. It's always more, I just come down to like, is this a real effort that's actually going to work? And that is why,
right.
I mean, honestly, that's why I respect what RFK Jr. and Marianne are doing. Because
what? Well, oh man,
dude, I literally dropped everything I was doing. I dropped everything I was cooking. I dropped everything I was doing. And I said, "What you just fucking say?" Let me play that part again. I'm literally like this part stunned me into silence. Sagar, she listened to Crystal Ball's carrying bullshit shit lib logic, and he upped the ante. Sagar is a giant shit lib, guys. And I said that for years. He's a shit lib. Listen to this.
Is this a real effort that's actually going to work? And that is why,
right.
I mean, honestly, that's why I respect what RFK Jr. and Marianne are doing, because they're running as Democrats.
He respects Marianne Williamson and RFK because they are running as Democrats.
The threshold, Nick, for third parties, how these white moderates frame it's framed in a way where you're gonna pick the Democrats. That's how they're framing it. So if you could play like the last 5 seconds of what he just said, and you'll see what I mean.
Yeah, I'll play it again.
What's up, bro?
Yeah, what's up, bro? What's up, man? I was playing the video, but thank you for joining us today, brother. How you doing?
Man, I was doing better before I joined this motherfucker. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, we definitely gonna clip this because I want A1 to see how fucking dumb these people are. Because I was watching this segment like, bro, can you imagine if I debate these people on this shit? I will literally ruin their entire political career. Like, I will debate them and people will never see them as serious political actors again. As I was doing the video, I will pick apart their strategy is so infantile. So Sagar has more respect for RFK and Marianne running as a Democrat than he does people who run as a third party because he thinks that there is some sort of negotiating mechanism. There's some sort of power to be willed running as a Democrat, even though that been Crystal literally seconds before you said that mentioned how running as a Democrat will lead to party shift to the right. And you say, well, I at least respect people because they run as a Democrat because he's an institutionalist. They hate the idea of anything upending the system they benefit from, any third party. So I'm playing the game, CJ. You can chime in, but this is
play that.
I'll actually curious on that. But all the things that Breaking Point said, I think this is the dumbest. I think out of all the moments we ever covered, Sagar, a quote unquote Republican, says that he respects Marianne Williamson and RFK because they are Democrats, and he liked them more than Dr. Cornell West because Dr. Cornell West literally is a post-duopoly leftist. Sagar
this is an independent media. This is independent media saying I like the Democratic way. Like, this is a freaking joke. But yeah, if you can play that last 10 seconds before I make this point.
Yeah, you finished. I'll play it again. Jesus Christ, this is unbelievable.
And especially with RFK, I mean, RFK Jr. is basically running, on the same policy platform as people who were green.
Oh wait, I think I skipped it. Let me go back again. I think I missed the part. I'll play from here.
Then they could go out and to try and get more ballot access, so they could become maybe the next Green Party in the future. Overall, I mean, look, I think people often confuse, political reality for like a judgment. Like, I have no issues with third parties. It's always more I just come down to, like, is this a real effort that's actually going to work?
Can you pause it there? That's the part I wanted to hear, because the threshold, this is how you know they're a white moderate. The threshold for Green Party and third parties, are you going to win right now? The threshold for Democrats, next cycle. Well, we'll try next time. Absolutely. You see how the threshold is different? You're in power. You are on 50 states ballots. How come you aren't on a win now? How come your strategy isn't, if you don't win now, we're doing something else? It's never that. It's, can you win right now? You can't win right now, Sagar. So what are you talking about? Marianne Williamson can't win right now. Bernie Sanders can't win right now. So what are you talking about? It's all about the illusion of going through the process. To them, that's closer. Being able to go through the process of being on, all the ballots, being that process, even though it's rigged, to them makes it a more viable avenue.
It's close to go. Like I'm probably we only play a little bit more of this before we wrap 7 minutes. Because at this point, I think I quit maybe around 7 minutes. Because I know I watched after this point. I was like, bro, what? It was this statement that made me decide to cover this. Because this statement is as dumb as it gets in politics, as ridiculous as it gets in politics. And if I was sitting in front of him in his face and they had me on breaking point and say this shit, I will expose you so bad. If you say something this ridiculous, like Sagar said, like, this is textbook institutionalist thinking, and they are quote unquote independent media. I'll play this part again. This be the last part we play before we move on.
More ballot access, so they could become maybe the next Green Party in the future. Overall, I mean, look, I think people often confuse, political reality for like a judgment. Like, I have no issues with third parties. It's always more I just come down to, like, is this a real effort that's actually going to work? And that is why,
right?
I mean, honestly, that's why I respect what RFK Jr. and Marianne are doing, because they're running as Democrats. And especially with RFK, I mean, RFK Jr. is basically running, on the same policy platform as people who were green for decades.
No, the fuck he's not. He's a Zionist, you stupid fuck. That's why he's a Democrat. If anyone confused on why RFK Jr. is a Democrat, RFK Jr. is a Democrat because he's a Zionist. He's class loyal. Are we clear? That's why. Last part, I'll end it.
Jesus but he, Christ. I think, correctly intuited that if I run as a Democrat, that this forces a genuine contrast with Biden. Marianne doing the exact same thing as well, even though they both easily could be third-party candidates. It almost gives them, I don't want to say a legitimacy, but it gives them a more contestable ground. Also, same with many other, look, I don't think Liz Cheney could ever win, but there's a reason she's not running third party. She's like, no, I'm a Republican, because she wants to.
Oh, okay. You guys see where this is going, but
yeah,
Jesus fucking Christ, man. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, they are establishment, and their job is to smear anything that goes outside establishment, and they're going to work backwards for the conclusion to justify their position. Like, what they're saying here makes no sense, because Sagar pretending that there is institutional advantages of running as a Democrat, and he even mentions in his spiel that you might be able to contrast yourself with Biden. You want to know who's been the most successful at contrasting himself with Biden? Dr. Cornell West. And literally in one day, been trending everywhere. This theory that you guys have, that you got to run as a Democrat to be acknowledged, is completely false. Because they ignore Marianne. You guys do segments on this shit every week. Kyle does segments every week about how the media ignore Marianne Williamson. How they ignore RFK. But then they turn around when there's a third party candidate and say, oh, you should run as a Democrat because RFK and Marianne are getting so much attention. These people are not dumb. They are malicious. Like, I don't believe these people are this dumb. Like, I could pause this shit every 15 seconds and point out how what they saying to you is a lie or bullshit. They are telling you this shit because they have a narrative. They have a motive. They have a bias. And that bias is towards institutions that turn them into millionaires.
Think about this. They're independent media telling you to stay within the bounds of corporate media's teams. What this? I mean, this like other than independent media, who's supposed to push third parties? Who's supposed to push that? Why is it independent media? Go ahead.
Shouldn't be pushing Democrats nor Republicans at all. You know,
Exactly.
we indie for a reason.
Yeah.
But despite how I feel about voting, or even the people that's running, if you was running third party, you know, even if you don't have ballot initiative or access to ballots in all states, do what you do. You know, do what you can. I would have more respect for you if you built it from the ground up. And this is the problem. Everybody measure things out in wins, and losses.
Yes.
Like, dog, we are going to lose. You know, that's what happens when you build an organization. You're going to lose people. You're going to lose numbers. You're going to lose a lot of things. But that's what happens when you build a real organization from the ground up. So maybe the People's Party maybe they're doing what they should be doing. We don't fucking know. We're not behind those doors. We're sitting at their desks, right? But to say, oh well, they're not legit, or whatever this don't make them legit, or you should join Democrats because they are more legit, or whatever it may be. That's just bullshit, and they partly loyalists. At the end of the day, you know, and it's crazy how he's a Republican and she's a Democrat, and they just working together. They showing you,
yes, that show does.
They showing you like how you guys have the same things in common, like except for the rhetoric.
Yeah.
Y'all are the fucking same. Red and blue is all the same.
To your point, Ron, I didn't mean to cut you off, but to your point, Sagar is a Republican. That's why my jaw hit the floor when he said that. Why you as a Republican saying you respect people who run more as Democrat than third party? Wouldn't it be the exact opposite? You should be a Republican, be like, yeah, third party, Dr. Cornell. Any left people want to run third party? That's what usually Republicans do. Sagar is not who he says he is. He's an establishment puppet. That is literally what he is. I can't believe anyone fought for breaking point, but go ahead, CJ.
And another thing is that all of these people are friends, and it's clearly that they can't be in a position to be friends with these people and tell the truth. So they're exposing themselves as being nothing but independent corporate media. Like that's all they're doing. They've been trained. Just think about it. Sagar and Crystal have been trained by corporate media. What's supposed to be in front of the camera, what shouldn't be in front of the camera, how to say things, what sources to use. So they're brought all of that to independent media. And I'm going to say this, and this will be my last point on this. They were a lot more independent in their thinking when they were on Rising. When they came by themselves, they went completely corporate.
Even if, like, let's say if Dr. Cornell West ran as a Democrat, that helps them overall. You know, it helps bring them money to their channel. Of course, they're going to bring him on. They're going to shine his shoes, rub his back, do whatever it takes to get him there, to have that that access, that journalism access. But they are he basically throwing a monkey wrench in their cash cow, I should say, which should have been Marianne Williamson, which they see that have backfired, or it is backfiring in their faces in real time. Nobody is interested in her. And with Dr. Cornell West being so beloved amongst a lot of fucking races in America, he's going to take all the spark away from her. He's going to take the little attention, you know, that she had, and a good grip of her followers, a good grip of her supporters, I should say, because you can see that these people will have the same, you know, base or whatnot, or be around that same area or whatnot. But yeah, he's gonna take a lot of money out of Crystal mouth and pockets. So I said mouth. He's gonna take a lot of food out of Crystal mouth and money out of her pockets, and she doesn't like that. So of course they got to step on it and try to at least shame him to where he's gonna one day hop and skip over to Democrats. But I don't see that coming.